Y'all see my tan line? I've been swimming this week, and so my bathing suit is high-waisted. It stops right here, and everything else got tanned. Hey guys, so today I'm here with my first pregnancy Q&A of this twin extravaganza. So I'm gonna just be running down basically how I found out, how things have been going, just the whole shebang, right? And I asked you guys on Instagram to submit questions, or if you were just wondering anything about a twin pregnancy specifically, because like I said, for me, I had no clue about what a twin pregnancy would entail. So you guys submitted questions. I have woven them into this video, so we're gonna just run down from start to finish and answer questions at the same time. Okay, so for a little background, and a couple of you had asked me like what made me change my mind about having more kids, because I did mention in a previous video, I think it might have been my last video or the one before, I thought I was done, right? But then I changed my mind. So what made me want to change my mind? So going all the way back to my first child, my daughter, thought I was one and done, right? I thought that that was gonna be my only child. And for the longest time, that was how it was. There's a very big age gap between my first and my second children. There's a 14-year gap between my son and my daughter. The reason for that is because I just wasn't in a place where I felt like I could have more kids. Plus, I just felt like life was going so good. Why would I want to mess that up, right? But my daughter, she had always wanted a sibling, and I was just like, no, not the time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the energy or just the mental capacity to have more kids. I just wasn't in a place, and I was kind of fighting against it. But one day, I just happened to look up and realize, wait a minute, I'm actually at a very good place in life. I have the finances, I have the support, I have like an ideal situation, and I feel like I do kind of want another kid, because my daughter was getting older and I was starting to realize like, oh my goodness, in a few years I'll be an empty nester. What am I gonna do? I was kind of freaking out, and then I would see little kids and I would get nostalgic and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, let's have another kid. So that's when I had my son, right? So after that, I was like, okay, this is great. I get to kind of start over, and things were going really well. But then once my son was around 2 years old and my daughter was 16, and it was really hitting me that she was going to be leaving soon, I started to remember, you know, how she felt when she was younger and she wanted a sibling. And I started to feel bad because my son would kind of be in the same position of growing up as an only child in the house, because my daughter would soon be leaving. I also realized I wouldn't mind having more kids. Like at this point, if I had 10 kids, I would probably be okay. So I was like, why not? I was just in a better place in life where I could handle having more kids. So yeah, that's what made me change my mind in a nutshell. And then a couple of you had asked, was this pregnancy planned or was it a welcome surprise? The pregnancy was planned because I did make the decision to expand the family. However, the pregnancy was also a surprise at the same time. To explain that, when I made the decision to start trying for another kid, I was tracking my cycle with an app, right? And so I was tracking my cycle for a couple months, and it was like very on it. I knew when I was ovulating, I knew when I was going to start my menstrual and everything like that. So the month that I got pregnant, I was totally convinced it didn't work. I wasn't pregnant, because the day before, and I was looking at my app, I'm like, oh, it's looking like I'm supposed to start my menstrual tomorrow. I remember it so clearly. I was kind of getting I was getting a little sad about it, because I just had those pre-period symptoms. Like I started getting super crampy. I started getting super tired, irritable, things like that, like PMS symptoms. And it felt like at any second I was going to start my period. I was totally convinced that I was done. I was out that month. I was going to have to try next time, right? And it was so crazy because with my first two pregnancies, my only symptom when I found out I was pregnant, the only symptom was a missed period. So that's what I was expecting this time around. I was expecting to feel nothing. I was expecting to feel just my regular self and just miss my menstrual. But that didn't happen. I felt super crampy, to the point where I should have even questioned that, because I don't really get cramps like that on my menstrual. But this time, for some reason, I was like, well, I guess it's just gonna be a heavy one. I don't know. Anyway, I was not expecting to get a positive pregnancy test. But when I did, y'all, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was in shock. I was Totally in shock. Went to the doctor, right? Got my blood drawn. My doctor was like, well, yeah, you're pregnant, but we want you to come back in 2 days and draw your blood again just to make sure your levels are increasing the way they're supposed to. And I was like, okay. So I went back 2 days later, got my blood drawn, and I looked at my portal after the results came in, and immediately, and this is another reason why, before I even got my first sonogram, I started to think, what if this is twins? Or what if this is a multiples pregnancy? Because from the start, it was so different. Like I said, when I looked at my portal and I looked at my results, I think it's the HCG, whatever they calculate in your blood. Every 2 days, it's supposed to double or almost double. My levels almost triple. And I was like, this seems really high. Like, I was Googling and I was looking at the ranges they're supposed to be for the time period that I was. My range was at the very top of normal, and I'm like, that just seems a little strange. So I told myself, almost half jokingly, what if this is twins? Like, wouldn't that be wild? Because again, the results just were so shocking to me. So then my doctor called and was like, we want you to come in either next week or the week after so we could do a sonogram. Now again, that seemed weird to me because at that point I would have only been 6 weeks along, and remembering my prior 2 pregnancies, the first sonogram I got was at 8 weeks, because really before that you can't see much, but at 8 weeks usually you can see at least the heartbeat and stuff like that. So I thought it was strange that my doctor wanted me to come in sooner than that. Why does she want to see me so early? I went to the doctor at 6 weeks, got my sonogram, everything was going fine. There was a doctor and a nurse in the exam room. So I did the sonogram and my doctor was like, oh yeah, there's the baby. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But again, by that point, you really couldn't see much. You could just see the sac and like a little outline of a baby inside. But then all of a sudden, out the corner of my eye, I saw the nurse and she was looking a little funny, right? And she kind of whispered something to the doctor, and then the doctor was like, I need you to scoot all the way down, because when you're that early you have to do a transvaginal ultrasound. And I'm starting to like panic in my mind for a second, because I'm like, is something wrong? What's going on? So I scooted all the way down. She moved the wand and the nurse was like, there's 2. And I look at the screen and I see 2 sacs, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Because she said it so nonchalantly and kind of low. I was thrown off. I was like, wait, what are you saying? There's no like brace yourself. There's no excitement in her voice. There was nothing. And I was like dumbfounded. I felt like I was in a dream sequence almost. Like I couldn't believe my eyes and my ears. What? The doctor actually didn't even say anything, which was weird to me. I'm like, can somebody just speak up? Can somebody say something? Explain this? Like, you know? So I was like, wait a minute, is 2 in there? Is twins? And the nurse was like, yeah. It was kind of shocking, but then it was kind of like, I shouldn't even be surprised at this point, because I just, from the very start, I felt so different from my previous 2 pregnancies. And also another symptom that I had that seemed a little out of sorts for what I had experienced before is the fact that I felt super heavy. Like my stomach, my womb felt super, super heavy, like I was carrying a brick around my belly, even super early on, even before that first 6-week appointment. Yeah, that's how I found out. Yeah. A question I got was, how is this one different than a singular pregnancy? My first trimester especially was pretty rough. My first trimester with my previous one, you know, I had nausea, things like that, just like this one. However, with this twin pregnancy, I had severe exhaustion in my first trimester. I was just down for the count. I never take naps in the middle of the day, usually. I'm always up, out and about. I'm a morning person, but this pregnancy had me just I was taking like 2 naps a day, y'all. Also, I got super big, super fast. By 6 weeks, I could not fit into my regular pants. I had to wear sweatpants or any type of bottoms that had elastic. I could not fit my jeans anymore at 6 weeks. With my first pregnancy, I remember it so vividly. I went to my 12-week checkup and the doctor had commented, he said something about, oh, you're 12 weeks and you can still wear those hip huggers. Like, I was still wearing my regular jeans comfortably at 12 weeks with my first, but with this one, that was not a question at all. Like, I could not do it. My stomach just started filling out so fast. With this pregnancy, I started out having super severe food aversions. It was so disappointing because some of those food aversions were things that I love to eat. Popcorn, I couldn't eat popcorn for months. I can finally start eating popcorn now, but I couldn't eat popcorn for months, and that's something that I ate almost every day, every other day. There's this place that sells really good vegan ramen that I like to go to maybe once every other week or something like that. I tried to eat the ramen, I could not eat it. So many things that I love, I couldn't eat for the longest time. So that's another thing about this twin pregnancy that was different than my previous two. I also had really bad gas pains. Gas pains that felt like labor pains, and I'm not even exaggerating. They just come on, they strike out of nowhere, and I just have to like grin and bear it. After the first couple of times that happened, I actually started to embrace them and use them as like labor practice. So anytime the gas pains would come on, I would try to breathe through it. I would try to do my hypnobirthing type of stuff, my meditations and stuff to work through it, to prepare for down the line when labor starts. So I use those as practice, kind of a fun little game, I guess. And then I also couldn't eat large meals for a very, very long time. I still can't eat super large meals because I feel like there's so much stuff already in my stomach that's filling it up. So if I eat a large meal, I start to feel very lethargic. I don't feel good if I eat too much. There's more baby, there's more placenta, there's more everything already in there filling up space. So I don't have a lot of space for food. So I have to eat smaller portions a little more frequently. I can't eat like super large meals with this pregnancy. And then, okay, so I got a couple questions about how I felt about the twin news. Someone has said, did you want multiples and how are you going to approach motherhood this time around? Someone else asked, were you trying for twins? Another person asked, are you nervous about having twins? Are the other children excited? And then someone asked, are you freaking out yet? Okay, so was I trying for twins? Absolutely not. That was never even a thought in my mind when I went for another kid. But how do I feel about it? I just feel like the luckiest person on the face of the earth. Like, you go for one kid and you end up with two. How amazing is that? I just feel so lucky, right? And it's funny because when some people find out that there's two, that I'm having twins, they're like, oh my goodness, I would be so scared. I would just be like freaking out. I would be all over the place. And that's just not where I'm at. We have such a good routine, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know, I have enough love, I have enough resources, I have enough time to fully care for two more. Yeah, so I wasn't trying for twins, but this was a definite welcome surprise. And so yeah, we are happy. Kids are happy. Everybody is. I think my family was just blown away. Like, they could not believe it. Everybody was just shocked. It's not every day that someone is pregnant with twins. So it was a little bit of a shock to the extended family, but the kids are very, very excited. Okay, so the next questions are about the types of twins that I'm having. So someone asked, do you know if they're identical or fraternal? Got a bunch of, do you know the genders yet? Will you be revealing the genders? Okay, do you know if they're identical or fraternal? So with this pregnancy, when I was around 12 weeks, I went to the doctor, did a sonogram, and my doctor was like, I can't tell if these twins, if they have one placenta or if they have two placentas, because she couldn't tell with her sonogram machine. And we could tell early on that they both had their own sacs, but we couldn't tell if they had their own placentas. And basically, if the twins have one placenta, if they share one, it puts you in a higher risk category than if they have their own separate placentas. So she sent me to get a sonogram at 13 weeks. And during that sonogram, the sonographer immediately was like, oh, these are fraternal twins. And I was like, well, how do you know? And she was like, because they both have their own placentas. So I was so ecstatic about that. So these are dichorionic, diamniotic twins, which again means they both have their own sacs and they both have their own placentas. Now, usually when they are dichorionic, diamniotic, I believe I read that there's a 70% chance that they are fraternal. So there's a very high chance that they are fraternal, but there's still a 30-ish% chance that they could be identical, and maybe the egg just split into two separate ones and they grew, separately. Now, I was offered this test. It's a blood genetic test that you can get. It looks for all types of diseases, illnesses, things like that, but it also can tell you the genders of your kids and if they are identical or fraternal. I declined that. I was like, I can just wait until the anatomy scan to see what the genders are and, you know, go from there. I really didn't want the genetic testing, so I didn't get that. So I don't know for sure whether they are fraternal or identical, but we believe that they are fraternal. That's that. 2 cords, 2 sacs, so that put me in a lower risk category, which is really great. I believe if they only share 1 placenta, they automatically want you to go for a C-section in that case, just to mitigate the risks, because it is more risky. But with them both having their own situations, that has not been pushed on me, thankfully. And then, will you be sharing the gender? So I will not be sharing the genders until they're here. I won't be sharing the genders until I give birth. I did have an anatomy scan a couple weeks ago. So right now, I don't think I mentioned it yet in this video, but right now, as I'm filming, I am currently 22 weeks pregnant. I got the anatomy scan when I was 20 weeks, so 2 weeks ago. So tentatively, I'm gonna say tentatively, I know the genders, but one of them I'm not so sure about. I'm just not convinced that it is what they say it is until the baby comes out. So yeah, I'm going to reveal the genders once they're here, but that's that. On to twin history. A bunch of you had asked, do you have twins in your family? Someone else said, do you have a history of twins in your family? A bunch of those type of questions. Do twins run on either side? And then someone also asked, did I do IVF? Okay, so do I have twins in my family? Absolutely not, okay? No twins whatsoever. So again, I feel like that's another reason why everyone was so shocked and surprised, because we don't have twins anywhere, okay? And I don't know anyone who has twins. I don't know anyone who went through a twin pregnancy. So this is like totally uncharted territory for me. I am just navigating this as things go on. My mother is actually really into genealogy and stuff, and she told me that the last time we had twins in our family, I believe she said it was in the 1800s. So a very, very long time ago, like 200 years ago, is the last time that she saw twins in our family tree. So yeah, no twins in my family. I do have a friend who's a twin, but I only see her by herself. I never see her and her sibling together. So I really have not had a lot of experience being like close and personal to the twin dynamic. So yeah, this will be interesting. This will be very, very interesting, but I'm excited. And then, did I do IVF? No, I did not. Okay, on to pregnancy craving. So I got a bunch of questions about this too. Someone said, what are you craving to eat? I got another question saying, with your pregnancy, do you have non-vegan cravings and how do you manage them? Another question, do you ever get pregnancy cravings for non-vegan foods? A bunch of you wondered that. Is there anything you can't eat now that you're pregnant? Like it just tastes horrible? Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there's a bunch of stuff that it just, the taste, I feel like my taste buds just changed so much like overnight, and it was just so strange and disappointing because there were so many foods I wanted to eat and I just could not stomach them. They just made me nauseous. Even thinking about it, it was like, ugh. And then finally, are you able to stick to your plant-based lifestyle while carrying? Okay, so my cravings, and have I craved non-vegan foods? Yes. Yes, I have. For a period of about 2 weeks in my first trimester, I craved cheese like nobody's business, okay? I was like, I need cheese, and I went for it. I was eating like the mac and cheese from Panera. I had a couple cheese pizzas, cheese curls, stuff like that. For about 2 weeks straight, I was eating cheese like it was going out of style. But that quickly ended because it was fine going down, but afterwards, after I ate the cheese, I felt so sick. I felt just so inside, and I didn't like the way I felt. So that was short-lived. But I was going ham sandwich on the cheese, okay? But other than that, I haven't had any non-vegan cravings. I don't crave meat at all. I have not eaten any meat in, oh gosh, 8, 9, 10 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. So no, I haven't had any meat. The only non-vegan cravings I've had is cheese, but that is long gone. I don't eat cheese anymore. And then, are you able to stick to a plant-based lifestyle while carrying? Yes, I am. As long as I'm getting the protein and the nutrients that are recommended to me, I'm totally fine. I'm drinking a bunch of water. But yeah, other than the cheese cravings, I actually crave really healthy stuff like big salads and lots of greens. I have been ODing on the greens: broccoli, kale, spinach, all types of greens. I just want to devour them. Also, I have been having a sweet tooth as well. I just made a chocolate cake the other day. I made an apple pie, like stuff like that. I like some sweets too, but most of my cravings aren't too crazy, aren't too unhealthy or anything like that. All right, in regards to privacy, because I got a couple questions about my privacy, why I'm so private. Someone said, why we never see your family. Another question is, hi, hope all is well. Why don't you ever post your family? And then someone asked, will we get to see the twins? So I'm going to address this in this video because I don't think I've ever talked about this really. Okay, so why don't I ever post my family? There's a lot of reasons, but I'll just tell you a couple of them. So first and foremost, I feel like I'm the one that made the choice to put myself out there, to be on camera, to be on, you know, social platforms and stuff. My family didn't choose that, and so I want to really respect that. Also, with my kids, when I started making YouTube videos, I had already had like boundaries in place of things that I would not do and would not show. And so far I have stuck to those things just because I don't ever want them to grow up feeling like, oh, here's mom coming with the camera, sticking it in my face. Here's mom trying to exploit me. Here's mom, you know, being disingenuous or anything like that. I don't want them to ever feel that pressure or that type of feeling from me putting them on camera, especially while they're young and they're growing up and stuff like that. I just want them to be kids, grow up, live normal lives, and not have that social media pressure. And then just having a camera in your life like that, you want to say it doesn't, but it really can change the dynamic of how things work, how people act, and I don't want to bring that into my family life either. So yeah, I just like to keep that separate, don't like to show too much, and I give a lot. I don't want to give everything. So that's why I don't show them. But will you see the twins? Yes, I will show the twins when I give birth. Like, it's going to be so anticlimactic if I share the pregnancy and then you don't see the babies. Like, come on. So I'm going to show y'all the babies, just like I've shown both of my kids before when they were young. But after they reach a certain age, I just don't post them anymore because, again, I want them to grow up not with a camera, you know, just grow up normal. So I will be showing the babies, but once they hit a certain age, I'll stop posting them as well. So that's that. Okay, so on to diets and supplements. Someone had asked, will the twins be raised on a vegan diet? No, they won't be raised on a vegan diet, but they will be raised vegetarian, just like my son is being raised vegetarian. My daughter, when I had her, we were eating everything and anything under the sun. I was not a health nut. Well, I'm not like a health nut, but I like to eat healthy and live a healthy lifestyle, but I was not in that space when I had her. And so once I had transitioned to a more healthy lifestyle, she was stuck in her ways and she knows what she likes, and I'm not about to, you know, force her to eat stuff like that. So she's a carnivore. My son, though, is being raised vegetarian, and the twins will be raised vegetarian. Okay, do you think your vegan diet had anything to do with your twin pregnancy? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, but I definitely am extremely healthy. I have gotten like all my blood work, every single thing, every test I've gotten, I have passed with flying colors. My levels are just perfect. So I don't know if my vegan lifestyle has led to me having a twin pregnancy, but it's definitely led to me having a healthy pregnancy and just feeling the way I do right now. What vitamins are you taking for pregnancy? So I showed this in my previous video. I'll link it below where it lists out the vitamins that I take, but I take a prenatal vitamin every day. I take a DHA pill, I take an iron pill, and then I take vitamin D3. And these were all suggested for me to take. Someone had also asked me if I have to take double the vitamins because I'm carrying 2 babies. No, I don't have to take double the vitamins. I just take those 4 every day. Did the acupuncture help with conceiving or conceiving twins? So as some of you know, I did take acupuncture for maybe like a year span, but I actually stopped taking acupuncture maybe about 6 months before I got pregnant because I moved and I just didn't find another acupuncture place to go to. And so I let that kind of go. So I can't say that the acupuncture led to me becoming pregnant because again, I stopped acupuncture half a year before I got pregnant, but it was very relaxing. It was very calming, and it was nice for me. So I like acupuncture. I do know of a lot of people who say like they got acupuncture and they wound up pregnant. So I don't know if it has a correlation or not. I can't say, but it was very, very nice for me. And then how much are you really supposed to eat with twins? You're not supposed to eat double, that's for sure. You're supposed to eat, I think it's like 300 or 400 extra calories if you're carrying twins. Don't quote me, but it's something like that. So yeah, I'm trying to eat just a little more than usual because like I said, once I get full, I get very, very uncomfortable. So that's a balancing act. But I'm trying to get in as much food as possible. But y'all, these two babies, they're at like the highest, what is it? They're like at the high range of height and weight for their gestational age. So they are getting all of their nutrients. They are growing absolutely amazingly. Like they are weighty, okay? So no issues on that front. They are growing fantastically. And then a lot of you had asked questions about like how I'm feeling, how I'm doing mentally, and things of that nature. So someone asked, how is your mental health? Praying that you have a healthy experience. Thank you for asking that. I feel really, really good. Like I feel so good. I feel such a clarity. It's a little strange. I don't know what it is. I feel good. Overall, I feel good. I can't even explain any more than that, but I feel really good. Not nervous or anxious or anything like that. I feel just like calm. Very, very calm. Someone else asked, hello, how do you manage it all and still encourage yourself to keep going? Another question, how do you maintain your style and confidence with the pregnancy? So for me, I feel like when I'm not keeping myself up, I don't feel right, you know? I just don't feel my best, and that's just not a good place to dwell in. So I always try to, if it's been a couple days since I threw on a real outfit, if I, threw my hair together, I'm gonna do it because it just makes me feel like my best self. So I always like to keep that up. It actually just gives me an extra pep in my step, makes me feel even more energetic, adds to my overall mood, and just makes my day go better when I feel like I look good. So that is a motivator for me. I don't want my kids to see me walking around here looking raggedy. Like that's not the vibe. So I just try to keep myself up, keep myself looking good, and it motivates me. Yeah, I like to look nice, just in general. And especially with a pregnancy, I don't ever want to feel like I'm losing myself or I'm just a gestational carrier and all I'm doing is carrying these babies and not taking time to nurture myself and what I need, and taking just time out to do the things that make me happy, what I want to do. And then someone just asked, how have you been feeling? So now that I am in my second trimester, I'm 22 weeks, I actually feel so freaking amazing. Every day I wake up and I am just so thankful because I remember that first trimester, whoo child, it was like night and day. These days I wake up feeling so energetic. I can pop, lock, I can drop it. I can do like everything that I used to be able to do, except like sometimes my belly gets in the way of certain things. I can't bend down easily. So that's one thing. My range of motion is limited. Also, one downside to this stage of pregnancy is the fact that my sleeping has been a little disrupted because it feels so uncomfortable sleeping and laying down in certain positions. And I have like so many pillows around me under my back trying to get as comfortable as possible, but oh child, nighttime has been a bit of a struggle, but I'm making it, not complaining. But that has been one thing with this trimester that has been a little challenging. Aside from that, my energy's up. I just feel really, really, really good during this time. So holla back when I'm like 35, 36 weeks. We'll see. We'll check in then. And then someone also asked, I don't know if this goes into how I'm feeling, but someone asked, did you get a bigger house to prep for growing your family? No. Actually, we would have been fine staying in a house the size of our previous one. Actually, that's what I was gonna do that's what I was looking for when we decided to move. I was looking for a house that was maybe just a tiny bit bigger than our previous house, but not, you know, as big as the one we're in right now. The reason that we got this house is because this was the only one that I found in the area I wanted to be in, with the type of layout that I wanted, with the type of features that I wanted, with the look that I wanted. And I was a little nervous getting this house because I felt like it was a little too big for us. Like, what do we need all this space for? I was like, we're gonna have extra space, we're gonna have empty rooms. But now, y'all, it's crazy how life works, because now that I'm having two, this house is perfect. Now I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about that. We're gonna fill the house up. However, with that being said, I feel like I do need a bigger car though. I really love my car, but I feel like I need a 7-seater because I'm gonna have 2 car seats plus a booster seat on one row. It's just gonna be so tight and cramped. I don't even know if they'll all be able to fit and be able to buckle and things like that. I feel like I'm really gonna need a 7-seater car, but the ones I have been looking at, I've been searching online, they're really not cute. I don't want to look like I'm driving a bus either. So it's just been such a frustrating thing trying to find another car. I know I'm gonna need the space. I don't want the kids to feel cramped. So if you guys have any suggestions, throw them my way for 7-seater vehicles that actually look nice and sleek and sporty and cool. That's my dilemma, okay? And that are reliable too, because I don't want just a clunker or anything like that. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, leave them below because I am searching, okay? So second trimester update. Someone had asked, what week did you start feeling better? I'm going crazy. I think I started feeling better around 15 weeks. That's when I started to turn the tide and things started to look up. I wasn't as nauseous, I wasn't as exhausted, and I started feeling more like myself. And that's also around the time, well actually no, I think it's like 14 weeks. That's when I started feeling like the flutters and everything like that, which is super cool. But yeah. And then someone had asked, have you experienced pelvic pain? If so, how have you been relieving it? I'm expecting twins as well. Yes, I have been experiencing pelvic pain. It's eased up a little bit actually the farther along that I've gone. I don't know how it's going to be further along and, you know, third trimester and stuff. It feels like it's eased up a little bit, maybe because my uterus has moved up. But yeah, my pelvis, my first trimester, even a little bit into the second one, it felt so heavy, like so heavy. Like I had so much pressure right there on my pubic pelvis bone area. And what I do some squats, I do prenatal yoga. That helps a little bit, but sometimes I just walk around and I just feel this this heaviness, and there's really nothing I can do about it. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'm not complaining. Okay, so birth plan. I had a couple questions about that. Someone said, will you carry to 40 weeks or be induced sooner? Another person said, what type of labor are you going for? Do you plan on a vaginal birth? And then another question, are you going to try a non-medicated birth again? So I do have a birth plan. I had a birth plan with my son, and I feel like having a birth plan, just having something that outlines your wants, your don't wants, how your ideal birth would go, is just really helpful. Even if you have to deviate from that plan just to make your wishes known, because I know with my son, there were just a couple things that are standard in birth, especially in American hospitals, that I did not agree with, and I made those things very clear on my birth plan. So even though my actual birth didn't go quite according to plan, those major things that I outlined, those were followed to the T because I was not playing around, okay? So yes, I have a birth plan. However, with this being a twin pregnancy, a twin birth, you know, even more things could be out of my hands. So I'm not gonna share my birth plan until I actually deliver, and then I will talk to you guys about what I planned and if everything went to plan and all that stuff. So yes, I have a birth plan, but we'll talk about that after the babies are here. And then finally, tips and advice. So someone asked, what are some things that have helped make your pregnancy journey easier? Just staying positive, really, eating good, exercising, getting some activity in, just keeping a positive mindset. It really has helped so much. Again, I was kind of nervous, kind of apprehensive about a twin pregnancy because I had never experienced it, don't know anyone who has. So I was basically walking in the dark trying to find my way, but it actually has been way easier than I thought it would be. Thankfully have had no complications, no issues, but you know, if so, just roll with the punches, stay positive, do what works for you, and also just take time for yourself to do the things that are going to make you happy. Don't run yourself ragged. I know with me, when I feel like I'm getting tired, or if I feel like I just need a break, I take it. I don't overexert myself. I give myself grace. I just listen to my body, because I can't go as hard as I used to with certain things. So I just give myself that space and that permission to listen to myself, what I want, what my body's telling me to do. Sit down, lay down, chill out, have some water, whatever. And then what are some things you wish someone warned you about when having a twin pregnancy? I wish someone had warned me about all these appointments. So I see a regular doctor. Right now, the frequency is every 4 weeks. I see a regular doctor, and then I also see maternal fetal medicine every 4 weeks. Once I get to, I think it's like 30 weeks, I see him every 2 weeks, and then at 36 weeks, I see him every week. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. There's way more appointments. With maternal fetal medicine, they basically work hand in hand with my OBGYN, and they check me, they check the amniotic fluid levels, they check the babies, all their extremities, everything like that. Everything about the babies they check and make sure everything is looking good, growth, everything. So it can feel like a lot at times, but other than that, I haven't really had too many things that really stand out, at least not that's coming to me. So yeah, but that's the only thing for me. Oh, also how big your boobs can get. Y'all, I feel like, oh my goodness, I feel like my chesticles are getting so big, which I'm not complaining about, because I've always been kind of a flatty. So I'm appreciating how much girth I'm getting up here, because with twins you are carrying like so much more blood, you're carrying so much more just fluid in your body. I have 2 placentas that I have to nourish. I have 2 babies that I have to nourish, so I'm getting more stuff going on in here. So yeah, lots of bodily changes. But anyway guys, that is my twin pregnancy Q&A slash how I found out slash how it's been going video. Hope you all enjoyed. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because it is lunchtime. I need to go eat. I done got hungry again. But I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I will see you on my next video. Bye guys.